As the remnant church beholds this battle between not left and right, but north and south, what is happening is that by beholding, we become changed. And so Satan's plan is to infuse the spirit of the north and the south into the church. And the way that he does that is very simple. As the Adventist church, as we are watching this conflict between left and right, really north and south, that same spirit of left and right enters into the church. And we have no clue. Let me explain it like this. Imagine two guys are trying to set you up, right? So they start a fight in front of you and your friends. And they're fighting, and you and your friends are like, hey, what's happening? Those guys are fighting. And then you run over to the fight, and you don't jump in. You're just watching the fight. And as you're watching the fight, some of you are like, you know what? I want that guy to win. And the others are like, no, I want that guy to win. And before you know it, there's an argument that breaks out about who should win. And now you guys end up fighting. And as you guys start fighting, those two guys that were fighting first, they stop and they're like, okay, they're at it now. They're fighting. They are divided. And those guys unite and turn upon you and your friends. Okay? So that was just kind of like an example. But what I'm saying is that is exactly what Satan is doing. He is infusing the church, not with left and right, because it's really not left and right, guys. It's north and south. When your eyes are on Christ, you will not be infused with that spirit. And listen to me, that spirit is on both sides. There's a north, there's a south, and there's a center. God's people, Jerusalem, were in the center. And beloved, that's where we need to be. That's where we need to be. Because you know what? The north is not going to go away. The south is not going to go away. But God will have a people who understand the balance between justice and mercy, who understand that Christ must be the center, that Christ must be the focus, and who see the spirit of the south and the spirit of the north as they war with one another, which ends up leading the church into possible division. Satan's plan has been revealed. There is no left, there is no right. It's really north and south. So now you need to see this, because foundation, and this is what you need to hear. Listen carefully. What led to Jerusalem being able to be captured, or being led to be captured by Babylon? Let me tell you. Jerusalem ultimately ended up in Babylonian hands because of division. You'll remember that a few hundred years earlier, there were 12 tribes. But something began to happen within Israel that led to the splitting of the kingdom. Please listen carefully, guys. Something led to the splitting of the kingdom. And Israel became divided into two camps. Israel and Judah. Judah, 2 tribes. Israel, 10 tribes. And you remember how those kingdoms were described? How were they identified? Northern kingdom, southern kingdom. Okay, just pause for a second and think about that. Satan had been working within Israel years before their fall. He was seeking to divide the kingdom, because Satan knows that a kingdom divided against itself will not stand. Israel became divided into kingdoms of the north and kingdoms of the south which ultimately led to their fall, Israel by the Assyrian kingdom, Judah by Babylon. What is Satan trying to do today? He is seeking to divide God's church. He is seeking to bring about revolution. He is seeking to do everything in his power to cause a north-south split. And should that split happen, that's when Satan will make his attack. Why? Because he's hoping to weaken the Adventist church so that they will not stand. Beloved, it is now time more than ever to keep our eyes on Jesus. And I think to a large degree, we miss the picture. We miss the fact that Satan's trying to bring about division, and he doesn't care what the division is about. As long as he can bring division, he knows that he weakens the church. And if he can weaken the church, his assault upon it, when he comes in person, I think that's why Ellen White said it will appear as if the church is about to fall. Well, we have two options. We can play into Satan's hands and, go to war with each other and demand, you do this or we'll do this, or if you don't do this, we're going to do that. Beloved, we can be about our Father's business. We can be about the preaching of the everlasting gospel, or we can divide. We can get into our camps of north and south. We can see the same spirit that is in our politics now enter into the church, and it's doing it. Yep, there are northerners and southerners right now in our church. Our church is becoming polarized. Satan's plan is working amazingly. And it's because we're letting him. So, what is my appeal? My appeal is this. Let's be about preaching the gospel. It's when we stop focusing on preaching the gospel that all these other issues begin to take front and center. Let's be about preaching the gospel. You have authority from God to take the gospel into the whole world. Let's do that. Because if we don't do that, our church is going to split. Northerners versus Southerners. You get to be a part of the problem, or you get to be a part of the solution. I hope we will choose to be a part of the solution. Peace.